Awesome. So tonight's lesson is how to actually progress rather than drown so that we can reach our goals quickly, efficiently, enjoyably, and actually reach them, become who we want to be, reach our goals along the way. I think we've all been in a position where we might know what to do, right? We've talked a lot about knowing what to do, figuring out what to do, and then also the discipline of taking action on those things that we know to do. But sometimes that journey can look a little bit foggy and it can make us feel overwhelmed or frustrated or feel like we're trial and erroring more often than we need to. This kind of gives you a lifeline to hold on to. It's helped me for years kind of break down things and understand the micro actions required. And it's a very simple lesson, but I really want you guys to pay close attention to the truth behind it, because sometimes the most powerful things are just so simple. Okay. So let's dive into it. Let's say you have 5 things you want to work on. I think we've all sat down with a journal before and written down all the things that we want to work on. So obviously we're staying on the subject of exercise, fitness, health goals, of course. But when it comes to that one category, and this can work for anything, but it comes to that one category, you can probably make a pretty fat list about all the things you want to improve upon, right? So let's just say there's 5. All right. Eat more protein, get better sleep, manage your stress, drink more water, exercise more consistently. Those are things we all kind of work on all the time, right? So regardless of what the things are, let's say there's 5. What do we tend to do when we see all the things? Plop them in our calendar tomorrow, all of them, right? We're going to work on all the things at the same time. And realistically, that's going to cause us to spread out our energy so thin that we're making such small progress in each category that you hardly notice it. And that's what leads to burnout. That's what leads to motivation issues, because you feel like nothing's happening. That's what leads to the inconsistent behavior that we all hate. So what's the alternative here? It's as simple as option number 2, which is tackling one thing at a time until you master it, and then moving on to the next thing, which leads to massive progress, self-trust, which brings about self-confidence. And that's what brings about true lasting change. So whenever you pick something you want to work on, you have to decide which one you want to be, which story you want to tell. If you chose option 2, then understand that from then forward, the discipline is doing what you said you were going to do until you master it. We talk about this really deep in our coaching is integrity. All you are is your word. All you have is your word. And I think it makes more sense when we think about a friend, right? Like if your friend reaches out to get coffee with you for like 6 times and she bails every time, like you don't trust her, right? It just breaks the trust. But we do it to ourselves all the time. We're like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym. Don't go. I'm gonna go to the gym. Doesn't show, we're breaking that self-trust. All you are is your word, and especially your word to yourself. That's what matters. And that's what integrity is being whole, being true to yourself and following through with the things you say you're going to do. And if you don't, when you don't, acknowledging it, fixing that trust like you with a friend. Hey, I know I didn't go to the gym like I said I would to myself, right? It's breaking it down to something that you know you can do and practicing that self-trust reliably until you can take on bigger things and make bigger promises, right? So that's where the discipline is doing what you said you were going to do. So if you say you're going to work on drinking more water and you break that down to a specific amount so you can track it, right? You're going to drink 1 more water bottle a day, for example, like in this example. Then you're going to do that until it's not completely subconscious, right? But you're doing it without really thinking. It's not something that you're like breaking your back over. And then you can consider another thing. Then you only have 4 things to work on your list because you took the time to master that one thing. You have no business trying to tackle the other 5 if you can't even tackle one. And what happens when you check off that one? Choose another one. Work on that. If you want to increase your protein intake, add 1 protein snack, 1 extra high protein snack a day, right? And do it until you reach your target. Then you stick with that one until it's mastered, right? And then you only have 3 things to work on and so on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So In summary, at the end of the day, right, we talked about this a few weeks ago. At the end of the day, progress requires action. Yes, you must identify what you need to work on. You've got to sit down and write down the list. That's like step one. What are you trying to work on? What's in the way? And then doing it, working on it. Quicker progress requires quicker action, quickly moving from knowing to doing, quickly saying, hey, I need to work on this. What are the things? Let's take action. But what I wanted to bring up tonight was quality progress requires quality action. Before, like the little 1.5 step here, you got step 1, know what you need to work on. Step 2, move from knowing to doing. But in between, you get to decide what kind of action that you're going to take. And that decision dictates who you become along the way. And also how permanent that change is. Because we've all done programs before where we didn't really like who we were at the end of it. And the progress didn't stay because we didn't really change inside. So whichever story you choose, you're writing it today and with every action you take from here on forward.